Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good. So you are homeless right now?
I'm homeless, and I've been homeless for a year. And it started 2 years ago when I fell in a hole with this leg, twisted my knee, and I had to have a total medical.
Ooh, that looks painful.
They illegally evicted me, took my home away from me, and auctioned it off. And I moved in with a lady for therapy. Well, she got us evicted. The day I got evicted, I had to go trade my car in to live in this van. On the top of it, someone steals my disability check, $1,284. So I have to wait till the 1st. So me and my 2 dogs are living in this van, and I'm struggling daily to get gas and food, any help I can get until my lawsuit goes through.
Okay, so what was it like when you first saw yourself on the streets?
Pride.
Pride was difficult?
My pride, yes, because I've never been on the streets. I grew up homeless on the streets as a kid,
Okay.
but I've worked in the medical field my whole life, so I've always had a home and everything. And I found that people on the streets, homeless, help each other more so than the other people help us. One of my dogs, I got another one, she's in the back. I've almost lost both of my dogs and me to it. Really rough.
So you said from a youth you were on the streets?
Yes, but I had a home all my life until a year ago. We've been living in here for 1 year.
Gotcha. I mean, with your age, being in a car, I mean, even for somebody young being in a car.
I'm 55 years old,
Yeah.
and I've been in this van and driving since 2 days after my knee surgery, taking care of myself.
Wow. It's been
And
difficult, I would assume.
It's very difficult. I go a lot without food. A lot. I make sure these guys have food before I do. And we just, sometimes, like today, no one's helped us until you came along.
Okay.
So it's been rough.
Yeah.
You know, and me being a woman living in a van by myself is a little scary.
I bet. There's bad people out there.
There's a lot of bad people out there, and I've learned to stay at Walmart in the lights and different places where I can stay safe, that people doesn't bother me, because it's a very scary world out there.
Yeah.
I have no food, I have no gas, I have no money, I have nothing.
Gotcha.
Nothing until the 1st when I get my check.
Gotcha. And it doesn't make it through the whole month.
No, it doesn't make it through the whole month. And I got a lawsuit I'm waiting on because this was $85,000.
Yeah.
And my insurance, my health insurance has paid everything. So we've been on the streets for a year now. And I try to move around, but the police are getting where they don't want people staying here or staying there, so that's an issue. And then we got to find a cool spot that's got shade during the daytime because it's so hot, you know. But we're making it.
Gotcha.
You know, I put my faith in God for Him to get me through this, and that's all I can do. You know, there is a lot of nice people down here that has helped me in the last couple of weeks, more so than other places.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
but I'm sorry, it's so
it's so
hot.
good. I know. Polk County.
Lived in Bartow my whole life, worked in the medical field for 37 years, so I'm full of, I got 3 rods and screws in my back, 3 pinched nerves, and a rod and screw in my neck. So it sometimes is very difficult, me pulling myself up and down. I
It's
pull
very
my
good.
shoulders,
for your
my
height,
arms.
It's a good climb.
It's been a very big challenge, and even though I have a place, it's still pretty much, we're homeless out here.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't choose to live in this. Everything I had was taken away from me,
Gotcha.
and I'm fighting for it. With
Gotcha.
it. So, you know, all I can do is just take every day, day by day, and talk to other people to get different ideas of where to go, where to stay safe, where to find food, where to get a bath. You know, through other people is where you find out.
Gotcha. Like I know a lot of people will go to a gym and they'll get a gym membership.
I can do that now.
Yeah.
I can finally do that now.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of issues with my insurance changing over, but it's free with my health care insurance, so I can start doing that. Thank God.
Yeah.
You know, because, well, I keep five jugs of water in my van, so I go over to the racetrack and they let me get free water. And sometimes they'll help me out with food, pizza or hot dogs, and they let me get free drinks. They've really, really helped me out, you know.
So you really think that people in Bradenton are more generous than in other places?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's because you look like you're not a heavy user, and most of the people
I'm
homeless,
not.
right? But most of the people around here are. So most of the homeless people that we see here are so deep into their addiction.
Drugs.
They have no, like, your clothes is very clean. You look very presentable. And most of the people we got out here are just spiraling out of control.
They don't care, and that's all they want.
Yeah.
It's very upsetting to me and a shame because I'm in this situation, and they go out there and beg for money, and people know it's used for drugs, so they look at me. Well, like I said, I keep water in here and I wash myself and I keep myself clean because I'm not a dirty person.
Yeah.
I'm not a drug user.
Yeah.
You know, this happened to me. I fell in a hole and twisted my knee. So I try to stay away from all these drugs because the drugs are horrible. I mean, really bad. You know, you just got to learn where they are and the people and just stay away from them.
You know, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it is.
People can tell. Tell me a little bit about growing up in Polk County.
Well, I moved there when I was 18 and met my husband there and raised my family, 3 kids, married
You
for
have
20
3 kids.
Yes,
Wow, congratulations.
30. I'm 55. My
Yeah.
kids are 38, 36, and 33, and I have 5 grandchildren.
Okay.
And one in heaven, she passed away of cancer at 18 months old. So, I lived there all my life until I was 51, and I fought for my disability from the medical center for 5 years. So I came down to Bradenton because I wanted to retire down here, and I bought my home and paid for it until I got totally harassed, evicted, kicked out. They said I abandoned my home, which they illegally evicted me out of, and sold my home and auctioned it off and didn't give me a penny for it, not 1 penny. So Morgan & Morgan is fighting this for me, but you know, it's a waiting game.
Yeah.
It's just
I'll
all
tell you,
waiting game.
I waited for a year, and and they made me go through a $100,000 back surgery, and after all that, they walked away from me. So you know, just know in the back of your mind, like I had video evidence of my accident and everything, and I still wasn't able to get compensation. They walked away from me after a $100,000 surgery that left me in a wheelchair. So just know that, you know, it's a crooked system.
It is very crooked. You cannot trust people anymore in this world. But anyways, I grew up in Polk County, raised my kids there, and divorced my husband. Worked in the medical field my whole life. You know, so I got an education. I'm not out here on the streets with these people out here. I'm just going through a really hard time in the last year, you know. But I thank God I have this.
Yeah.
Because this is all I have.
Gotcha.
Everything else I had to leave in my home. You know, my bed, my dishes, everything else I had to leave. Basically, I have my dogs and my clothes and a few fans and stuff in here. I'm learning at an older age. Sometimes you gotta let your pride down, and you gotta ask for help. Because I've sat in my van weeks and weeks with no food, no gas, and no nothing until finally I said, I've got to get some help. You know, so I put me a sign out to get some gas and food every day so that I can have food. You know, I'm not a big eater, but I try to go to like the food pantries and get snack bags and stuff like that because they will help you a couple of times a week. And I go to the homeless shelter to get my mail at Turning Point, you know.
But I've noticed, like, I panhandled one time just to know what it felt like. It's very humiliating. It feels
really is.
It feels dehumanized.
And another thing is, I worked all my life, and to get food stamps, I get $23 a month in food stamps. To me, that's the most degrading thing that they could ever give me, and I did not want to be out here on the streets asking for money. I do not, because I live on my disability check and I budget everything, and I don't have bills because of this, but I have to put brakes and stuff, and it's always something you got to put in here. It's like your house, you got to pay your light bill, you got to put everything in there. So it's a constant battle. You can't get no help from the government. They don't care about homeless people. They'd rather you die on the streets before they help you. And the society is so judgmental on low-income people that are going through hard times. But you know what? Everybody goes through a hard time in life. And if we don't come together and help one another, God wants us to love one another and to help one another. He does not want us to come along and tear each other down like people do us, the homeless people, And you got to have resources out there. You got to tell people where they can go to get help, because a lot of these people are so doped up they don't even know what they're doing in this world, So
Lost.
when I get extra food, I go up to the store and I feed as many homeless people as I can, always. And that's just my kind of thing. If somebody gives me extra clothes or whatever, I take to somebody else I know that needs it. Dog food. I look for people that are homeless. I look for veterans, because my son's a veteran. He was in Korea for 8 years in the Army, and coming home to a different life, and depression, and his stress and everything that he's gone through. So there's a lot of veterans out here, believe it or not, that they don't make it easy, because you can't get a doctor's appointment. You can't get no help from the military lies to them about so much. It's unbelievable. So I'm also an elderly advocate for children and elderlies, because of working in the medical field my whole life. So I know a lot of resources, and I try to help as many people out here on the streets as I can. I can tell them where to go to get the help that they need, whether it be drugs or clothes or a shower or food or prayer or whatever. We're all out here together, believe it or not. We kind of stick closer to each other, because we feel like people is just in our lives come and just throw us away when they're done with us. Not to help us, but to tear us down a little bit more. But there is also a lot of people out there that loves us, that loves God, and we just got to spread love and peace and joy to people out here. Give somebody a smile, give somebody a hug, because you know what? When you're homeless, you don't get that from people. And loneliness is a very bad disease to have. I've put up with depression my whole life, and it doesn't cost anything. It's free. Hugs are always free. Hug anybody that will let you if you see them in a need, because that hug will help their day and mean more than anything to them in this life. I promise you that. Please listen to my words and my story, and know that I'm not a bum out here on the streets. I'm trying to do the very best I can and get through each day of my life until I get through this. God bless you. Thank you for talking to me and listening to my story. Thank you so much.